Welcome back. Now, Action SA is taking the IEC to court after the political party's name was omitted from the ballot paper of the local government elections. The party is now seeking an order that all printed ballot papers be destroyed. The party is also asking for a confirmation order that the use of an abbreviation for the party is optional. However, the IEC says it's the party's own fault because it elected not to register an abbreviated name. eNCA's reporter Govan Whittles has more on that story. He's joining us now from the venue of that press briefing by Action SA. Govan, I didn't follow the whole press briefing today, but I would like to start my first question to you as follows. I interviewed Ms. Ngobeni of Action SA last week, Friday, when they started making these noises around the whole ballot paper thing. And they never said, according to what I've just read, that they were at fault by not registering an abbreviated name with the IEC. So it's interesting that now they are pushing for the destruction of all ballot papers.
That's right, Braden. The Action SA says that they didn't make a mistake when they refused to register an abbreviation for the party, because the party's name doesn't have an abbreviation. And they say that the limit on the number of characters of a party which can be contained in the ballot paper, on the ballot paper, is 8 characters. And Action SA has 8 characters. And they say they chose the party name specifically because those 8 characters would fit into the ballot paper. And further to this, and more importantly, they say there's no indication on the registration for the political parties, the form which the political parties register, that a failure to submit an abbreviated name for your party would then be a waiver of your party's right to have its name on the ballot paper. As things stand at the moment, there would be an Action SA logo and then an empty space where the abbreviation of other parties is, and then another empty space where voters are supposed to make their mark. And Action SA doesn't want this to happen. It's going to the Electoral Court on an urgent basis. And I'm joined now by the national chairperson of the party, Braden. It's Michael Beaumont. Michael, so at the crux of this is the disagreement about whether or not the failure to register an abbreviated name for your party means that you've waived the right for your party's name to be on the ballot. What's your view?
Well, certainly. I think that's the IEC's contention, but I think it's an absurd contention. There is nothing in legislation, as you've correctly noted, that says what goes into that form goes into a ballot paper. The process for constructing the ballot paper is defined in the Electoral Act and the Municipal Electoral Act. It doesn't specify where the information that goes into a ballot paper comes from. And to basically interpret that to say that a political party that doesn't have an abbreviation, whose full name is its abbreviation, should have an empty space on the ballot paper and make it harder for voters to identify that party, goes against all logic around what governs the IEC to run free and fair elections.
You're also asking the court to destroy any of the ballot papers that have already been printed with just the Action SA logo in that empty space. And you say that you raised the concerns with the IEC at the signing of the Code of Conduct. What happened when you brought this to the attention of the IEC and you asked them to change it?
So it was raised with the IEC on Saturday and the days that followed, where at municipal level the ballot papers were being presented to the municipal level party liaison committees. Our representatives objected to the ballot papers immediately, and the following day we were in communication with the senior management of the IEC. They told us 2 things, Govan. They said to us that this is an issue to do with the registration form, which we reject, and that even if notionally they wanted to fix it, or they could fix it, they wouldn't be able to, because the ballot papers had already been issued to print. That brings into question, what are we signing off when we sign off these ballot papers? Because if we can't correct a problem in the interest of voters when it comes up, then what are these sign-off processes actually for?
All right, thank you so much. Let's leave it there, Michael. This is a case that will be decided in the Electoral Court, obviously. Pradan, should be noted that the registration form also indicates that the party should submit its abbreviation if there is any abbreviation available, and that form which we have at sight of doesn't indicate that this is the abbreviation which would be used on the ballot paper. I have reached out to the IEC. They've indicated their executive council will be meeting throughout the day, and they are not able or willing to respond at this point. The latest or earliest they could do is by tomorrow. Of course, the deadline for the IEC to indicate whether it will oppose this urgent application sought by Action SA has already passed, but they're able to submit a later notice of intention to oppose or intention to abide by the application. Action SA says they want to be in the electoral court on Friday, arguing this matter on an urgent basis if the IEC does oppose, but we'll have to wait for the outcome of that Executive Council to know what the Commission's next move will be. Bradan.
Okay, we'll have to wait to see how this gets resolved. Thank you very much for that update, Govan Whittles, on the matter between Action SA's newcomer onto a political stage and the IEC.